Thank you, sir, for your wonderful welcome note. To start off with, I would like to welcome our first speaker, eminent speaker, Mr. Srinivas Rao. So he is a motivational speaker, corporate trainer, and SCM guru and a quality expert also. He is having a professional experience of 33 plus years of experience in various industries and 18 plus years of experience in management consulting, training, education. His focused area is supply chain management, operation management, lean management, process improvement. Currently, he is associated with Director Spring Institute Management, visiting faculty of MAHG Manipal, and a senior consultant on BPM Limited. And at an education upfront, he is an MBA in material management, gold medal in marketing management, international diploma holder in supply chain management, diploma in foreign trade, diploma in packaging technology, and certified sourcing manager. So I welcome you, sir, to take the session forward. So over to you, sir. Srinivas.
All, thanks a lot, Kaho, for inviting me to be part of this prestigious program. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks to, of course, Dr. Vinod Kumar also, Dr. Chandra Vinod Kumar. We have been interacting with each other for quite some time now. We know each other very well. So thanks to him also for inviting me to be here. I am not from the healthcare industry per se, though I have been involved in various programs, organized by various healthcare related organizations. That way, I have some affinity for the healthcare organizations. As of course, a human being, I have not given much trouble to the doctors. I have tried to maintain myself as healthy as possible. Not that I don't eat junk food and all, I still eat, but I try to keep myself as fit as possible. Whatever my doctors or my doctor friends suggest, I try to take care of those requirements. I was introduced. I work with Infosys BPM also. I work as a consultant on contract basis. Even at Infosys, we do talk a lot about sustainability practices. So when we talk of sustainability practices, like we are not concerned just about emissions, not about like carbon footprints or even water footprints. Nowadays, people talk about footprints also because a lot of AI and blockchain and machine learning, these are all being used. So obviously, your systems get heated up and you need a lot of water, and the water footprint also is slowly getting added. But what we are also looking at is like how do we reduce waste? How do we conserve energy? How do we we have various resources like people and various infrastructure facilities and all, and we also can't live without our suppliers in supply chain. They are also very important. How do we empower our suppliers? How do we ensure that they also follow sustainable practices? Having said that, please remember in sourcing and procurement or in a supply chain, there are three pillars of sustainability. One is environment, another one is the society, and the third one is economy. These are the three pillars of sustainability. We take care of these three, then I think we will take care of most of the requirements as far as sustainable procurement is concerned. Normally, people talk about environment, society, and economy. What I have done is, for my purpose, I have made it as society, economy, and environment. Now, why did I make it that way? Because I was just, looking at your name, Kaho, which say, okay, you need to, say something. So I thought, we also need to see. So society, economy, and environment, you need to see that, and maybe we learn all these things, and it is time for our participants to go back and then do the things or karo. Okay, so deko or siko or see and maybe karo. That is what is very, very important. So I have like made some small changes in the order in which normally these are presented. So if you look at society also, you will see health and safety. That's the most important thing. There are other things also like rights of employees, self-empowerment and learning and diversity, etc. But if you see, what becomes very important for us in healthcare is the health and safety of the citizens, the health and care, safety of maybe animals, and I would also, of course, include the scarce resources, whatever we have. Even they need to remain healthy and safe. Fortunately for us, I always say we are unable to touch sun. That's why anything that is related to solar still unaffected. That's where we are lucky, perhaps. Second thing is economy. There also, if you see, the highlight is on consumer well-being. Again, we are talking of people. When we talk of healthcare, again, we need to take care of people who are around us. And if you look at environment, I think everything becomes important there. It is not just the, one or two areas. It is about circular resources, carbon footprint, almost everything, whatever is under environment, they are all very, very important for us. So I just wanted to give a prelude into what do we mean by sustainable supply chain management or sustainable sourcing and procurement. So we do look at society, economy, and environment, and all the companies, irrespective of which industry they are certainly concerned about, or they are looking at, or their focus point is certainly sustainable practices. So let us what though like I mentioned at the beginning, I am not from the healthcare industry. So what I am going to do is I am going to talk to you about other industries, what other industries are doing, and where they have the best practices. I'll take some examples also, examples of some companies, all world leaders, and you need to think, as I go on speaking, you need to think what can you do in your organization, what can you pick up from these well-known organizations, and then how you can replicate those. Of course, you need to make some modifications and then see how you can practice those in your industry. So let us talk about the topic of the day today: best practices or strategies. What are being used in or being followed in various companies. What I am going to do is I'm not going with like 1 to 10. I just wanted to go on the in a reverse fashion. So let me start with the 10th one. I have top 10 practices. So I'll start with top, 10th practice, go to ninth one, eighth one, and so on. And then maybe talk about the, latest area, that is my area, which is in a way, I told you I work with Infosys. So that's more about IT. So I'll go with the 10 practices, 10 best practices, starting with the circular packaging. We all discuss about circular packaging everywhere. So what we need to do is, especially in our area, that is healthcare, for like next, I think 2-3 hours, I am part of healthcare. So I'll call it as my area because I feel, maybe very proud to be part of this program. So what we need to do is, like anything that we buy, anything that we acquire, anything that we use, we need to see whether we can, like whatever we buy, can we recycle it? Can we reuse it? Can we reduce the consumption? I think that's the best thing we can do. We don't consume something at all. Or can I refuse to consume something? Or can I rethink about what I am doing? So I'm again going the opposite way: recycle, reuse, reduce, refuse, and rethink. So this rethinking is also very, very important. Do I really need something? If I need something, then do I have the right to refuse to use something? Whether it could be some medicine, it could be some maybe add-ons, maybe items like maybe even the equipments, yeah, your CT scanners, MRI scanners, or other things also. Whatever you use, equipment, machine, including the vehicles, ambulance, and other things. Do we really need those? Can I refuse to use this? If I have to use, can I reduce the consumption? I can't do anything, but then can I at least reduce it? And if I have to use it, is it reusable or recyclable is what I need to see. So here, the best example that I could think of is about Diageo. As we all know, Diageo is an organization that is into manufacturing of liquor products. Of course, I am not I don't take liquor. I'm a teetotaler. But, I looked at Diageo. They have been removing a lot of plastic items, especially from their beer products. They had some plastic rings and all. They have done away with that. And then now their cans are being held together either using some glue, Again, the glue, you have synthetic glue, you have natural glue. So they are, trying to avoid synthetic glue, because synthetic glue means, again, you are using chemicals and all. Can you use natural glues? That's what they are trying to say. If that is not possible, can they use, packaged by, can they have these canisters in recyclable cardboard? Many of us have seen recyclable, cardboard canisters. Earlier, detergent used to come in these canisters. Products like Vim and Odopic and all were being packed in cardboard canisters. Can we think something of that kind to, use our products also, to pack our products? So you can, think of, this is just an example what DOJ is doing. In all other areas also, there could be several other examples where companies are looking at circular packaging. This is a very important area. So can we recycle, reuse, or reduce? And if I can, like, refuse or rethink, nothing like this. So circular packaging is the first, I put it as 10 because it's already in the system in most of the industries. People have been doing, following this. Even in supply chain in other companies, I have first, read about circular packaging almost a decade back. So this is the 10th one for you. Ninth one is, about sustainable sourcing. Our own suppliers, we need to ensure that they also practice sustainable practices. It is not that only we need to go for sustainable practices in supply chain management. Can we look at suppliers who are already into these kind of practices? Nestle is a good example here. What they have done is they work closely with their farmers. They see what kind of farming practices they have. They see, what kind of impacts their practices have on the forest, natural ecosystems. I remember in one of the pharma companies where I was working, we were working close. We had, in the company, though it was a pharma company, we had MSc Agriculture Science postgraduates who were, going to various areas, geographical areas, work closely with the farmers and see that these farmers grow, whatever is required by us. It's an Ayurvedic company, and they work, they used to work closely with these farmers to grow the right kind of maybe the plants, so that we get the right kind of extracts, so right kind of leaves. All these were being done. We were working very closely with the farmers. Even the honey. I'm very proud of this company. But it's in Ayurveda. But the honey that we were sourcing was coming from a particular forest, from particular flowers. So the honey would go into, the honey would come from that particular forest, from particular flowers. We were so keen on getting the best of the honey, no sugar added, nothing. It was pure honey. And I was always struggling to get the honey. So this is what we need to do. We interact with our suppliers, but can we go to the next level instead of interacting only with supplier one or tier one suppliers? Can we go to tier two suppliers, tier three suppliers? We always know that supply chain starts with the nature. Can we, start with the nature where the supply chain starts, and then work with these people so that they also practice, whatever is sustainable, they also practice. Nestle has already done this with coffee and cocoa. Already, the entire requirement is being sourced sustainably. Of course, the benefit, everywhere I put the benefit also. So the benefit is very obvious. Improved social and environmental sustainability. So in addition to Nestle, I gave the example of honey also, how, we were going out of the way to source the right product. I have always, believed as a supply chain guy, not to work just with our tier one suppliers, go to tier two, tier three suppliers. If possible, go to the starting point, that is the nature. I have worked with, companies that would produce rubber. So how the rubber plantation works. I have a friend in, he was earlier in Marico. Later on, he moved to Dabur. He knew everything about coconut. Because Marico, we all know they have parachute oil. So he knew everything about coconut, and he would take care of, all the requirements, whatever the coconut growers wanted. He would go to that extent. Next one is about renewable energy. Everybody talks about renewable energy today. So renewable energy in operations is very, very important. How do we use, like, maybe solar energy? I told you solar, fortunately we can't touch. Your hydro power also, like use of water. Water is also becoming very scarce. How do we use this very effectively, very efficiently? That is very, very important. Here, the best example is that of Walmart. What Walmart does is, all over the world, they have gone into this area. I was just talking to my nephew who works in the UK. He works for a company and he is in the renewable energy area. And the moment I said that I'm going to be part of this program about sustainable practices, he immediately, put a small, point there about renewable energy. So all the countries everywhere they are talking about renewable energy, and Walmart has very ambitious plans by this year end. They want to have 50% of its operations where power is being used through renewable energy, and they have more than 600 renewable energy projects worldwide, and have signed agreements with all those companies that produce wind power, and they by 2035 they want to be fully renewable. That is what their plan is. Walmart again is a good example. So we also need to see how in our own organizations whether we can can we go for solar power, can we go for a lesser consumption of water, can we use wind more? If in our area, let us say that my hospital or my organization is in a rural area where there's plenty of wind, can I use that wind? Or I am in some places like extreme weathers. I know of some places like Chandrapur, Nagpur, and all in Maharashtra. Similarly, other areas also, maybe Rajasthan and other places. Can I use solar energy? Can I save my power and use this, and then maybe save power for the country, for the world? Can I do that? So Walmart has gone into that. Similarly, we also, of course, you need a lot of investment. You do get subsidy from the government. Also, you need to look at those subsidies and then see how we can best use this particular benchmark in our own work area or our industry. Next thing is, I told you about water. We have been using a lot of water everywhere. Water, yeah. Before that, I just wanted to talk about sustainable transportation. I'll get into water after that. I think I'll talk about how what PepsiCo is doing. But before that, let us look at sustainable transportation. What a company like IKEA is doing. Now, IKEA, as we all know, they are into furniture. Way back, it's also a success story. They had warehouse separately and they had showroom separately. They came out with a brilliant idea. They said, "Why not use our warehouse as a showroom?" That is how the IKEA concept started. They have modular furniture, and now they don't have a warehouse. The showroom itself acts as a warehouse. So you just walk into IKEA showroom, that itself is a warehouse. You choose the furniture that you want. You can even have a 3D, view of how the furniture looks like if you're buying online. And there also you can find out how it looks like, and then decide what furniture you want to take. Buy that, carry it home, and assemble it at home. That's how IKEA works. Now, what are they doing as far as transportation is concerned? They are gradually phasing out. They have numerous delivery vehicles. They have started with Sweden. These vehicles, they all guzzle a lot of gas or gasoline. In Shanghai, they are already using EVs, electric vehicles. They are saving plenty of like our carbon dioxide emissions. Where they can't have EVs, where they are using internal combustion engine vehicles, ICE vehicles, there they are looking at different alternate delivery routes, how transportation can be faster, and how we consume fuel as less as possible. Way back, I was working in a construction company, and I went to Larsen and Toubro, one of the leading companies here in India. I found out how they were managing their transportation, and I came back to my company, and then I started similar system in my company. All the delivery routes were decided by us, not by the transport operators. So we decided which route they should take. So the entire country's map I studied. I was in Mumbai those days. I went to Western India Automobile Association. There is a directory that is available that gives you routes of all the national highways, state highways, and the local roads. And I use that, and then I worked out the distance. I worked out the route first, worked out the distance, and then I also worked out the rates per kilometer, per kg per kilometer. I did that, and using that, I negotiated the prices, and then I got the best of the prices. Obviously, I had to go for the quickest delivery routes. Somewhere, of course, I got the feedback saying that there are narrow bridges, weak bridges, narrow roads, traffic jams, some permits required in some states and all. Some restrictions between like morning 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Vehicles can't pass through that and all. So I looked at everything, and then I fixed the delivery routes so that our fuel consumption could be low. Of course, I was a bit selfish also. I was looking at getting the best of the rates. So sustainable transportation is something that you also can think of in various areas. How we can, we need to work closely with your suppliers and see how we can have sustainable transportation practices. Sixth one is about water. I told you I will talk about PepsiCo. As we all know, Coke and Pepsi, they consume water much. Their products, have water more than anything else. But they are also looking at various areas how they can create water. On one side, they are consuming water. How they can, create water and help the society by providing water. One, increase the water use efficiency. They have already done that. They have already achieved 15% since 2015 as part of their corporate social responsibility and also the ESG efforts, that is environment, society, and governance efforts. They are like trying to provide water. They are already providing water to around 70 million people. So what they are doing is they are ensuring that water is not wasted in other areas. For them, they are in the business of quenching thirst. That is what they realize. That is when they stopped competing with Coke also, because they realize when it comes to the business of quenching thirst, it's not about selling Pepsi or Coke, it's about quenching thirst. So whatever is their product is a must for the end user, because they found that their competitors were not just Coke or Pepsi to each other. They realized that beer manufacturer is a competitor, water manufacturer is a competitor, juice manufacturer is a competitor. That is when they got together. It's also a collaborative supply chain. I know I've heard about, like in Nepal, Coke and Pepsi, are transported together in the same vehicle. And today, all these companies are, they have come together and they're trying to see how in other areas, if they are in the business of quenching thirst, in other areas, how water consumption can be reduced. So how water wastage can be reduced. When I say consumption, somewhere it's absolutely essential. You have to have water, but otherwise, can you reduce the consumption of water? So same way in the healthcare industry, also in hospitals, in nursing homes and all, you need to see where all water is getting wasted or getting used more than required. So can we do something else? Again, you need to be innovative. You need to think out of the box in all these areas. It's always good to look at best practices in other industries, other companies. How do we cultivate those in our own organization with some modification? You need to have an open mind. Fifth practice is about sustainable packaging innovation. Procter and Gamble is a very good example. What they are trying to do is they are trying to relook at their design, where all they have items which are not recyclable. They are trying to do away with that. They have started with this product called Lenor, which is a fabric softener. I mentioned earlier about the cardboard containers or canisters. They are trying to look at similar things. So they have already come out with a paper bottle for this Lenor fabric softener, and very soon we may see this in India also. But using this paper bottle, which is 100% recyclable, they are trying to remove waste from the supply chain with some like good design and all. So they will I'm very sure even the cap also would be something similar. Right now they have looked at the container, but gradually they will look at recyclable cap also. Otherwise what will happen is you may have to use aluminum foil and all. So you may that again recyclability is an issue. So they're trying to go for 100% paper bottle. Next one is about supply engagement. Everybody talks of looking at supplier as partners. Collaborative, relationship is what is required. Of course, you can't have partnership everywhere, but where possible, can we look at the suppliers as partners? Can we work with them as collaborators? Can we collaborate with them is what we need to do. Which means, like I said earlier, I used to go to the natural source from where the supply chain used to begins. We need to work closely with the suppliers. Apple does this extensively. Apple has something called Supplier Clean Energy Program. This was launched in 2015. Idea was to reduce carbon footprint in its global supply chain. So what it does is it works closely with its suppliers, encourages suppliers to use renewable energy. It has already helped 200 plus suppliers to move, to renewable electricity. 100%, they have done away with the use of regular electricity, and they have, done away with the removal of carbon dioxide also. Of course, what they are also doing is they are giving some financial support because these companies on their own may not be in a position to invest on, moving over to renewable energy. In addition to financial support, they are also, because Apple is a big company, they are looking at training. They are looking at providing the right resources to these suppliers who can, go and train the suppliers, help with them, have a, do a hand holding to switch over to the use of renewable energy. So similarly, we also can see if of course, we need the support of our stakeholders, our top management, because we need to spend time on all that also. So maybe for like doctors or surgeons, consultants on, it could be a bit difficult, but we in supply chain can, give some time and work with them, work with the suppliers closely. Pick up top suppliers, don't pick up every other supplier. There are big companies like our own organizations. They would be interested in such maybe approaches, and they will be happy to help us. Third one, zero waste to landfill. So here we must try to, right now what might be happening is many companies are like burying, they are digging, maybe pits and all, and burying all the waste there. When we say zero waste to landfill, that means nothing goes to the landfill area. Everything gets recycled. Toyota has successfully done this. They started this way back. So almost all the sites now they have waste management projects, and instead of landfilling these waste, they are using this elsewhere. They include everything, including whatever waste is created at the cafeteria and in other places. They all these are recycled. So this is another area that you can think of, because in healthcare industry we do see a lot of waste happening. How do we, because we may not have any choice but to create that waste. But how do we recycle this waste? How do we use this to the best benefit of the society is what we need to see. Second one, sustainable product design. Philips is a good example here. They have launched a campaign called Better Than New, which promotes benefits of refurbishment from low cost to low waste. So what they are now doing is they are trying to maybe refurbish some items and use those items in their products. When you do that, then you can save money. Today, they are saying in one of the products like Philips medical imaging systems, they are designed with materials that are 90% recoverable. That means these can be recovered by using some way or the other. So this is something that Philips has come out with. Similarly, I'm sure other companies like Johnson and Johnson, all this whoever is GE, they are all are working on that. I've just given the example of Philips. I'm not trying to influence any particular company to you guys, but I know all these other companies also. Everybody has gone into this, and you realize that they are also saving a lot of money. You can perhaps supply chain guys can use this for negotiating better rates also. Last thing here is blockchain. I told you I'll go the other way. Blockchain is being used extensively. IBM supports use of blockchain in an extensive way. You can keep track of assets, you can keep track of your drugs, you can keep track of your materials. Initially, we thought that supply chain we may not need blockchain. We don't have to keep track because we are audited extensively, so we don't have to do. But right now, the feeling is that yes, we can use a blockchain for movement of assets, even for money and other products, you can certainly use blockchain. So Walmart has been using it. They can even go to the extent of keeping track of the sliced mangoes. Nestle has used it in various areas. Currency, printing, governments have also used all these. So blockchain, then there's no scope for any manipulation and all. You need the support of all the stakeholders. So blockchain is something that we can all use. With that, I come to the end. What perhaps helps us is ISO 2400. This is the ISO certification that is applicable to sustainable procurement. You can think of ISO 2400 in your organization, in addition to whatever certification you have, and go for sustainable practices. So ISO 2400, I just wanted to say that this is the certification that is applicable to us, and this is what we use in various industries also. Yeah, with that, I come to the end. Thank you very much. I have exceeded by 2 minutes. Sorry about that, organizers. I don't know and it's over to you. This is how I looked, when I was in happy mood, slightly different. But these are my numbers. Anytime you have anything, you can contact me through the organizers or directly also. Thanks a lot, ma'am.